You're tuned in to the Vintage House Show, home to the original stories of the history of house music as told by the legends, pioneers, and icons. Hosted by Kevin Mega McFall, Lori Branch, and Lauren Lowry.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to the Vintage House Show. I'm the host of the Vintage House Show Spotlight, DJ Momami, and I'm so excited for our interview today. We have some really great things to talk about, some shows coming up that I'm excited to tap into. So I'm super excited to talk with Gavin Royce of Walker and Royce. Royce, welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited to come to Chicago. I know it's cold there.
I know that's not something you hear a lot in January and February. People excited to come to Chicago. What makes you excited? Is it the food, the people, the music?
I love Chicago is like one of my favorite cities because I've spent a lot of time in New York and now I live in LA, and I feel like Chicago is like this perfect. It's like I don't know. I love Chicago. I've always loved Chicago. I had it come for a long time, and in New York City, I had a bunch of friends from Chicago, and they were always like some of my best friends in New York were from Chicago, and I'd always be like, I love this place. And I never went for a long time. I just like never went. And then finally when I went, I just fell in love with Chicago right away. I know I'm from New York. The pizza's different there. But I still appreciate the pizza, and I know some New Yorkers are going to be mad at me for saying that, but it's like lasagna pizza, right?
Both are great. I will say you have you probably had the deep dish, but we need to get you when you're here some tavern cut. Tavern cut is the squares. That is
okay. It's like Sicilian.
That is what we eat on like a regular.
Okay.
Well, I'll be sure to send you some recs. But we're excited to see you next week. I wanted before we jump into what's to come, what's happening in the future. I kind of want to start go backwards a little bit and talk a little bit about the origin story for your DJ upbringing and what was your introduction to DJing house music. What was that journey like for you?
For me, wow. I started going, I think at a young age, I was like really into like breakdancing. I lived in New York City when I was like very, very young. I lived in New York City, then I moved to Washington, D.C. area, and I moved back to New York City. But when I was really young, this is dating myself, but it was the 80s, and people were like really into breakdancing. So I just kind of like immediately was drawn to I was drawn to hip hop. I was drawn to I really liked Prince, and I really liked Michael Jackson when I was a kid. And so that kind of music. So I kind of never really I feel like the rock side of things. I remember specifically moving to Virginia, and like everyone liked rock, and I didn't know anything about rock music.
Yeah.
And but I think it kind of continued with me. And then my family's actually from England, and I went there in like 1990 when I was very, very young, but I had these older cousins, and they were going to raves.
Oh.
And it was like the rave thing had just started, and they were like in their 20s, and I'm sure they were up to no good driving to Manchester to go to raves and stuff like that. And I went home with like all these I called them rave tapes, and it was like jungle and acid and all this really weird stuff. And I was like a little kid, and I would like go to school and listen to this stuff. So I just kind of immediately was like identified with the DJ culture. And then as I got older, it just I started going to raves. I started doing this, and then but as becoming an actual DJ, I always kind of was interested. But I always say this is Doc Martin. I used to go to this rave called Buzz in DC, and Doc Martin played one night. He played normally in the front room. They would do drum and bass, and Doc Martin played all night long house music. And I literally left this party, and I was like, I'm buying turntables, and I'm going to the record store.
What?
And it was like I think I was 19 or 20.
Oh, sick. Okay.
And I was like, I'm going and I'm getting turntables. And then I went and got, and like I had a friend that had already kind of started DJing, my friend Bill, and then my buddy Kent, they had already so they kind of hooked me up with like their old gear. And it was like a belt driven turntable and like a really old Gemini mixer. Yeah. Wow. But yes, at my young age, I was always into dance music. I liked watching breakdancing. I liked doing all this stuff. So I feel like it just kind of naturally.
I'm hearing a very eclectic background from the music in England to the music in New York to the music.
Yeah, sure.
Like so many different scenes shaped you,
Yes.
I want to expand a little bit more on New York City because I feel New York City and Chicago are sister cities when it comes to the house music, dance music culture. What was when you started DJing? I'm assuming it was in New York. Was it in DC?
I started DJing. I was younger. I was in actually, I guess in college. My first DJ gig was in like the DC area. It was like
Okay.
in this place called in Arlington, which is like, I mean, it's essentially DC. It's in Virginia, but I started DJing in the DC scene first, I guess, and then I actually worked for this Yoshitoshi Records, which was like Deep Dish's owned the label, and now I think it's still owned by Sharam from Deep Dish, but it was like Deep Dish was like Dubfire and Sharam, and I got like an internship summer. I worked like 2 or 3 summers in a row there.
That's sick.
And I literally dropped out of college to like move to New York for 1 year, and then I never went back to college and finished.
That's kind of, I think, the goal though, as a lot of artists and musicians, is like, I'm gonna do this until I really pop off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just was like, I'm gonna move to New York for 1 year and see what it's like, and then I never left, and I never.
Yeah. So tell me about that. What was it like during that era of up and coming? You know, getting your feet wet in the DJ community. How did New York City shape you?
I think New York City. I'm very glad I'm from there. I don't live there anymore, and I feel like the most New York thing to do is to move to LA. So I don't know, but I think as coming up there, I liked coming up from New York because it's a tough place to be, and it's like I think you have to work really hard. I know it sounds, when I was there, I was playing vinyl a lot my first years, and I didn't have any money, so I'd take like 2 huge bags of vinyl on the train to to my gigs, and then I would take them home on the train at night. So I feel like what I liked coming from there is it's like you have to be good, if that makes sense, to make it. It kind of created this like competitiveness, but like not in like a mean way, if that makes sense. But like,
it sounds like it was very motivating.
It was like motivating because it's like I had nothing else.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's hard to explain. It's like I played a lot of shows there, and it wasn't. But
I think to this day, New York City is a place where people go, and it forces you to expand yourself because it is such a global city. You have so many different scenes. It's like, how are you going to stand out amongst this crowd of all these other DJs?
Yeah, I mean, New York City is a place I think that in general, nobody moves to New York City to like chill. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? But like,
absolutely.
Like no matter what, if you're in finance or if you're in fashion or if you're in music, like you move there to like, it's like a very competitive place. So I feel like it has like this kind of sets a bar, and it kind of made me like learn how to fail, if that makes sense.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's like, you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying because
what were some of those challenges you faced when you first got started?
Well, when I first got started DJing, I just wanted to, I wasn't producing music. Sorry, my mom keeps calling me if I don't know if you hear that in my phone.
I can't hear it. No.
Okay. my old mom calls me 10 times in a row if I don't answer. But yeah, I mean, the challenge is, I think it's just, when I started producing music with me and Sam, so I DJ'd a bunch, and I was kind of playing locally, I think a lot in New York City. I was a resident at a party at Webster Hall. I was I was playing a lot of gigs. Sorry, she keeps calling. See what's happening? She keeps calling. But I was playing a lot of gigs, and then I think once I started, what I realized is me playing all these local gigs and opening for everybody wasn't going to get me to where I really wanted to be, which is I wanted to like get some music out there and start traveling as a DJ. And then what I think happened was sorry, I got distracted by the calls.
You're okay.
Once I realized that like I kind of wasn't going to go, I felt like I kind of almost hit a ceiling as like a local DJ. And so me and Sam were making music, and then I think the music is what was interesting is like the music was good. And, immediately when we started making music together, I was working for Nervous Records and he was working for Nervous Records doing like mastering for them. And we just needed some content for the new label we were doing. So once we started doing that and we started getting played by DJs all around, that's when things like took a different turn for us. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't think anyone cared what we kind of, I think I'm glad I have all the local DJing and the experience I had. I think it helped us become a better DJ duo. But like really the music is what took us to where we wanted to go. Is what I always thought was interesting.
And when you first started DJing and producing, was it always house music, or was it kind of a blend of things?
It was a little bit more. I think Sam was really into. We had been friends for a while. Sam was really into progressive house for a while. Then he was really into minimal techno. I was really into disco. For me, it's always been house. For my side of things, it's always been funky, kind of like I was into funk and disco when I was in high school before I even
I
touched
still
the
get that
turntable.
influence. I still get the influence of the music.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, thank you. Good. Yeah,
the funk is there, honey.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's like I feel like that's where like I kind of have like the disco side. So for me, I was playing a lot of, especially when I started producing. When I first started producing on my own, it was a lot of deep disco edits I was doing, and that's how I kind of got with Sam. And I was playing a bunch of shows. Sam was hanging out because he was my buddy, but Sam was working for Ableton. He wasn't playing as many shows as me. He had a couple gigs, but Sam was kind of like the studio guy, is at home every night making music, and I was DJing like 5-6 nights a week in New York.
Wow.
But then I would like be working on disco edits, and then people started being like, "Hey, why don't you I have this label, like I have a release coming out. Can you remix it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." I wouldn't say no, but I didn't really know what I was doing. So how me and Sam got together was I was working on this remix, and I kind of said, "Hey, man, can you come help me do this like one thing?" And in 10 minutes, he figured out like what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Like, and I was just like,
and you were like, "I need you. I need you."
I was like, "I hate you, but let's partner up." And then I ended up helping, and he's like, "Well, I've been working on this kind of stuff. It's a little bit more different." And he had been working on some more kind of like, I think at the time he had been doing some kind of electro and techno, and then he was kind of doing some disco-y stuff. And I think I ended up working on a few tracks with him, and then we just kind of like, "Oh, we'll call it Walker and Royce." We called it Walker and Royce because we didn't think it would go like anywhere else. That's why we didn't come up with a name. And then it just kind of stuck. And then it's just like, but it was an immediate, I think for us, when we started making music, it was an immediate like reaction. Like one of our first songs hit with a bunch of DJs, and like Damian Lazarus really liked it and asked us to be on Crosstown Rebel. So it was like a weird thing. It was like as soon as we started making music, people really liked it, and we knew we had something special, so we kind of stuck with it.
Oh, that's great. When you can find someone who just the synergy is there.
Yeah.
And especially, as creators, it's nice to have someone else to bounce ideas off of, their strengths fill in some of your, weaknesses, and vice versa.
Right.
What is the creative process like between y'all? Even to this day, how do you find balance for both creative visions?
The balance comes in time, and I think that Sam, I think it's no secret, Sam is still to this day more the studio guy. Sam is, I would say, one of the best. He's an incredible engineer. He is he could make anything. He'll tell you he's trained in he went to school he used to play trumpet.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But he's like this guy that will tell you he's not trombone. I'm sorry, he's played trombone. But he'll tell you he's not he's like, "Oh, I don't play the piano," but then he'll sit down at the piano and play anything.
Yeah.
And he'll literally you can just name a song and he'll play it. But he's like, "Oh, well, I'm not trained." So Sam has so Sam is like that guy that I think is how our process works is I'm kind of more it's I would say 80% him, 20% me, if that makes sense when it comes to production. But I feel like the vibe is very equal between us, and we both kind of find between our backgrounds and influences, I feel like we find this really sweet spot for the music and stuff.
Absolutely. That's great that you found that.
But as soon as when we're working on music, Sam definitely likes me to get the hell out of the studio for a lot of the time. He's like, he'll be like, what we'll do is we'll start a song. He'll say, "Okay, get out of here." And I'll he'll work on it not literally get out of there, but he'll work on it by himself for a day or two. And then we bring it, we bring it back and we say, "Okay, this is where it's at." And I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And then we kind of take it from there. And I do a lot of help, I help with the arrangement and stuff like that. That's
okay. Look at that collaborative effort. And y'all also DJ together.
Yeah, and we DJ together. Yeah.
Okay, and what were some of those early gigs like for y'all?
They were strange. I think that was the most awkward thing. I felt we felt immediately comfortable together in the studio.
But then when there's 500 people in front of you, it is a little different.
Well, yeah, and for me, I had been DJing so much, especially when we started. I was I had opened for everybody from Frankie Knuckles to Felix the House Cat to Dead Mouse and Mastercraft.
Yeah.
Like I've been like just DJing so much in New York City, so I was very, very, very comfortable in front of a crowd like that. And I feel like Sam kind of was a little less comfortable. And I think the first couple of gigs, I mean, he got into it, and now, I mean, we're both, I think, equal DJs now.
We found that flow now. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we found the flow. But I feel like it was a lot of like him just kind of being like not knowing how to react in front of people and stuff. But I feel like it's we found a groove after a couple of years for sure.
Yeah, so it sounds like that's kind of where you brought in your expertise and your comfort in the duo.
Yeah, there's very much a yin and yang here. The yin yang story we have going on here. There's like
yeah, I hear it. I'm excited to see it. And so I want to kind of fast forward now and talk about some of the new things you're working on. I do want to hear about this new album, No Big Deal. What can you tell us about what to expect?
Okay, well, we put out part 1 already. For us, we had done an album called Self-Help in 2017, and I kind of feel like it defined like a period, definitely for us, and kind of for us for a few years after. And we always wanted to do a follow-up album. We were planning on doing one in 2020. Everyone knows how that went. So we kind of had these like couple years of like we didn't really know what direction to go in. And I feel like with No Big Deal, we were kind of not playing. We were kind of put the idea of doing an album out of our head. We were like, you know what? We don't know where we're going with our sound. We're trying all these different kind of influences, trying to all these different kind of things. And then all of a sudden something kind of hit with us. We did this song called Stop Time, which is out on the album, but we had released on our label earlier in the year. And we kind of felt like this was like it felt like a foot planted, and we were kind of like, all right, we found like the pivot that we wanted. And so we're kind of like trying to experiment with like a little bit, different sounds from what we're used to, but, still has like our sound, like our kind of like signature there. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, for the album, for the first part, we had a new guy called Barney Bones, who's an incredible artist, writer on there. I feel like he's going to blow up in the next couple of years. We had the Stop Time track. We just put out part 2. We're doing it in 3 parts.
Okay.
We're doing, or I guess 4 parts. We're doing like another single next month, and then we're going to do the full album at the end of March.
Ooh, that's exciting.
And the one that just came out, we did a drum and bass track. We both used to love drum and bass and never DJ'd it or never made it. So but we both found that we liked the same drum and bass from back in the day.
Okay.
And we kind of like so we decided to try drum and bass track is called The T, and then we also have with Vanessa we have this track called I Don't Remember, which is honestly one of my favorite tracks you've ever done. I feel like it's and this is like a new kind of sound and direction. I feel like for us this is like the direction I was talking about, and I feel like I Don't Remember is like very indicative of that kind of direction we're going in and vibe we're going in. And then we also have a track on the first part with Reggie Watts, and the final part of the album we have another track with Reggie Watts. I don't know if you know Reggie Watts.
Wow.
Yeah,
like a full circle album.
Yeah. So we're having like another part, and then there's going to be a few more tracks we release in March that are going to be a little bit more album oriented tracks, I guess, not so dance floor oriented.
Okay, what do you mean by that, album oriented?
They're still electronic music and they're still pretty much house, but it's like a little bit. We have another track with Barney Bones, which is like a little. It's almost like he's like I would say he's like a rapper, but it's like we did this kind of like it's kind of like an emo sounding.
Ooh.
It's like very like we're gonna I'm hoping that we do like we're gonna try to do a black and white like 80s music video for it, because it kind of feels like that kind of vibe.
Okay,
and then we have another track with Reggie Watts, which is a house track, but it's definitely just like with stuff with Reggie is a little bit more chill. So it's like we're not like it's not like I don't know,
like 1 a.m. dance floor.
Yeah, it's not like full peak dance floor stuff like where I think I Don't Remember. We wanted to kind of highlight that by itself for the club DJs, where it's like with Vanessa, it's like definitely like a big banging track.
That's so exciting to hear that you are still finding new ways to experiment and push yourself and just, not stay stuck in the same sound just because it works,
Yes. Well, I think that's always been one of the first tracks we ever did that got really popular was a track called Connected. And this is a really long time ago. If there's people out there that know us, they might not even know this one. But it was like, it became like a really big hit for us, got licensed to like defected Ibiza comps and stuff. And we were just like, it was like the third track we ever made. But everybody came to us and they were like, make another Connected. Just make us Connected. Make us like labels literally asked for us to make another track just like that. And we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it because it's just like not the way we like look at. We were just like, we already kind of did it.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm not mad at people that do kind of
just
find something that like they're good at. But for us, it's like all about moving on. I mean, that's why we didn't do an album for like 5 years, is because we just didn't feel like it was the right time. And then there was like, oh, we made this one song and now we kind of felt like we were on this like this headspace and going down.
Absolutely. It's really nice to honor that creative process. You know, sometimes I think there is this expectation of coming out with albums and mixes all the time, very, you know, consumer perspective. But it's really nice to hear that y'all are honoring the creative part and your creative identities. You know, I'm really excited about this drum and bass wave from you all, because I think there's this really cool resurgence I'm seeing of drum and bass. I love drum and bass. And I think drum and bass was there. It got really bass heavy for a second. And then it was kind of like, you know, chill. And now I'm seeing again more drum and bass specific shows and drum and bass artists.
Yeah. I think it kind of hybrided, if that is a word, with dubstep for a little bit.
Yes.
Now I feel like for us, that was, I think, kind of where that's kind of where we came in, where we were like I know maybe Kruder and Dorfmeister isn't drum and bass, but like we used to really like this kind of atmospheric kind of like, before I was like really into house, I was really into drum and bass for a minute, and I would wear wide legs and like I would pop and lock it, you know, and I was really into like these DJs like Aphrodite and AK-1200, Diesel Boy, DJ DB, which was like a guy from New York that was really good. So we kind of, me and Sam kind of were like, oh, we really like these like sounds. In the track we've done, there's like a little bit of like atmospheric kind of like pads in there and stuff. So we're really excited.
Oh, that's so exciting to hear. So let's talk about this show at Radius. I know you said you're so excited to be in this single digit weather.
Yeah.
How are y'all feeling about the show next week?
I'm super excited. We have I think a really great lineup. We have this guy Osei, who's a local guy, Wade Osei. He's on Trick. He's on a few things. We actually signed him to our label. He's going to be coming out with a release from us later this year. He's opening. Then we have the legend Mike Dunn, who is like, I remember his music before I even knew what house music was. I would hear it on like the radio, like Freaky MF, and you know.
Oh yeah.
I just like. So I've known of him, you know, I've been a fan of him, and he's still putting out amazing music. So we're excited, so excited to have Mike Dunn. And then we have this young guy, Abo, who's like another young kid. That's just like, he's a new guy making music that sounds very different from everybody else. So it's one of the reasons we really like him. So I think we got a really great lineup. Yeah. I'm excited to play. It's the biggest venue we've played in.
Really? Chicago. I was thinking, have you been to Radius or
I haven't been to Radius. We've done a bunch of Chicago shows. We've been playing at Spy Bar for forever. We've played at Sound Bar. I love all these Chicago clubs, so I'm excited. I haven't been to Radius.
It's awesome. You're gonna love it.
All right, I'm excited.
It's so cool. There's a 24-hour shrimp spot nearby if you're hungry. It's as Chicago as it gets location-wise.
All right, cool. Yeah.
That is so exciting. So let us know, where can we follow and keep up with you and continue to support?
All our socials are Walker and Royce. We also have Rules Don't Apply Records. So our album's coming out on Dirty Bird, which is our home for a long time, but we also have our own record label called Rules Don't Apply, RDA Records. If you can find that, we have some really great releases coming out there. We got dances. We got this new guy, Taylor Pierce. Max Styler's been on there. We got some stuff from Vanessa coming out later this year. We're really excited about. And then Walker and Royce on all socials. You can find us. We have a young guy doing our socials now, so it looks cool. You know, it's not just us, two old guys being like, I don't know. We got a young kid. We got, you know, so our socials are exciting. You can come watch them.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we're doing stuff. It's, you know, and I'm so excited to come to Chicago. I can't wait. We're
January 27th.
January 27th. It's like, I don't know when this is airing, but it's 1 week from today. So I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to be amongst the crowd. I mean, to hear and play house music in Chicago is really something special, I think, for any DJ, because we love it here. We love it, and we're gonna dance to it.
All my heroes are from Chicago.
That is so great to hear. I mean, you have one of your heroes on your lineup. That is,
I know. I'm
DJ,
so excited. Yeah.
To reach that point where someone you admire is on the same bill as you is fantastic. So we are so excited here at the Vintage House Show to air this and see. I will be in attendance at Radius. It's so close to my house. I'm probably gonna walk there. So I'm excited to see you all. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me and chat with me. But other than that, Gavin, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Stay warm.
I'm an expert at that. Okay.
It's raining in LA, so we're all melting over here. But
of course, no one's driving, no one's doing it. I know how it goes.
Yeah.
Rain to go DJ after this. So.
Oh, wow.
You have a wonderful rest of your day. You stay dry, and I will see you next week.
Yeah. Come backstage and hang out.
All right, I'm gonna tell them Gavin said I'm giving.
I will make sure that you're on the list and you have AA access. So, all right.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Vintage House Show podcast. Please subscribe and share, and check us out live, WNUR 89.3 FM, Wednesday.